Hello, and welcome everyone to another episode of Riz Talks. I'm your host for the next 10 minutes, Riz, and I'm genuinely glad you're here as we explore some of the more interesting and occasionally concerning questions about who we are, where we headed, and what it truly means to be human. Our motto stays the same: think again. How has our history shaped our bias, behavior, and occasionally baffling decision making? And do the things we believe, assume, or confidently post on social media even matter in the grand scheme of human survival? We make it a habit not to accept stories simply because everyone else does. After all, the majority once believed the earth was flat. Doctors thought bloodletting cured headaches, and the sun was revolving around our planet. Times have changed. Today, we're challenging one of humanity's most stubborn illusions. If common sense is supposed to be common, why does it seem rarer than a parking spot at the mall during Christmas? Let's dig in. Today's episode is common sense uncommon? Here are some facts. High intelligence scores may not mean more common sense. Human intelligence is measured by IQ scores, intelligence quotient. Majority, about 68%, have an average IQ between 85 and 115, where scores are categorized as average, high average, superior, or gifted. Specific demographics can show variations. Above average is 116 to 129, while gifted and superior is 130 and above. Only about 5% of the population has an IQ above 125. Intellectual disability is below average score of 70. Approximately 2.2% of the population has an IQ below 70. Back to common sense. According to a study on human judgment, 88% of people think they have above average common sense, which mathematically explains everything. Research shows more than 40% of adults admit to making decisions they themselves describe as unwise at least once a week on reflection. According to neuroscience, humans rely on cognitive shortcuts that often override rational thinking. The global rise of misinformation is strongly correlated with declines in analytical reasoning. In short, humans aren't dumb, but we sure do play the part convincingly. The concept of common sense is said to originate from Aristotle, the Greek philosopher, who believed humans had a special internal faculty that merges information from all senses into one unified understanding of reality. Modern psychology respectfully disagrees. Early humans survived not by being logical, but being fast and fearful. Common sense didn't evolve to be correct, it evolved to be useful enough to avoid being eaten. For example, seeing a rustle in the bushes and assuming tiger instead of probably the wind wasn't smart, it was safe. This is called the negativity bias, and it still runs our brains today. This explains why people panic faster than they think, why facts lose to feelings online. Did you know in medieval Europe, people believed bathing opened pores which allowed demons to enter the body? So many avoided baths for years. Imagine a whole continent united by one common goal, not common sense. Had to wear wigs for lice and put on a lot of eau de parfum. The use of bidets today is still a novelty in some cultures. Some of the psychological and sociological reasons common sense fails are cognitive biases. Humans carry over 180 documented cognitive biases, mental shortcuts that help us think quickly but badly. Some favorites are confirmation bias. We seek information that agrees with what we already believe, also known as YouTube recommendation syndrome. Overconfidence effect. People overestimate their abilities, including their ability to think clearly. Then there is the Dunning Kruger effect. The less people know, the more certain they feel. This explains why someone who watches one 7-minute video on black holes believes they can debate astrophysicists. Then there's social conditioning. Common sense isn't universal, it's cultural programming that has been proven. For example, in Japan, leaving shoes outside is common sense. In Australia, leaving shoes outside is an invitation for a spider to move in. A study from the OECD in 2020 found that critical thinking skills are declining worldwide, even in developed countries, because modern society rewards speed over depth and reaction over reflection. We scroll more than we think, we react more than we reason, we outsource our judgment to algorithms. So, are we being dumbed down by technology? Is that what's happening to common sense? Evidence suggests that heavy smartphone users show decreased working memory performance, and internet dependence reduces long term knowledge retention. Students who multitask digitally during study perform up to 20% worse on exams because humans cannot multitask. You can move quickly between tasks, but that is it. Artificial intelligence is not making us stupid, but it is making us mentally lazy. Intelligence may be artificial, but stupidity is still natural. If this trajectory continues, especially with artificial intelligence, we will know more facts, but understand fear of them, have access to endless information, but lack judgment, choose convenience over competence. A scary but funny prediction is by year 2100, humans may evolve thumbs twice as strong and attention spans half as long. So, why is common sense uncommon? Because the human brain is ancient hardware running modern software, where biases override logic and culture shapes perception. Here, emotion beats facts, and technology is doing the thinking for us. Research indicates some important factors influencing intelligence scores include genetics, environment, education, social and family background, and culture. Common sense is not necessarily intelligence or inherited, it's learned, trained, and rebuildable. Intelligence and common sense are related, with intelligence often encompassing abstract thinking and formal knowledge, while common sense involves practical experience and intuition. Intelligence and common sense can both be seen as forms of judgment and reasoning, but highly intelligent people may sometimes lack common sense by overanalyzing situations. That would be best solved with simple, experience based intuition. We can cultivate it through awareness of bias, critical thinking, slowing down decisions, continuous learning, and occasionally turning the phone off. I know, radical. If we can build machines that learn, why can't we? And if common sense is becoming rare, shouldn't we protect it like an endangered species? After all, humanity relies on it. Thank you for joining this episode of Risk Talks. Are we living in a way that will leave this world wiser and more thoughtful than we found it, with more common sense? The time to act is now. So please share the message, think again, challenge ideas, join the conversation, and subscribe for more episodes. This is Risk Talks. Be curious, be kind, and come back for more.